Ben Shapiro, a Jew, is showing himself to have a more Catholic understanding here than, I would even say, because it's true, the majority of Catholics. I am so glad that my friend Matt Fradd is getting a platform out there and entering into very interesting conversations with people like Jordan Peterson, whom he recently had on a show. And here he's on Ben Shapiro's show. Good on you, Matt. So glad you are in these arenas. They have a very interesting conversation at this point in the interview about the Catholic Church's teaching on the unity of body and soul. Really important. Let's take a look.
I think this goes to one of the most fascinating things about Catholicism in general is the focus on the embodiedness of human beings, which runs directly counter to all modern strains of thought. So the way that the sort of post-Cartesian world has taken up this argument is that the body is one thing and the mind is another. It's this weird Gnostic dualism.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is awesome. Ben Shapiro, a Jew, is showing himself to have a more Catholic understanding here than, I would even say, because it's true, the majority of Catholics. I don't know exactly what he's studied to get to this place of understanding that this is authentic Catholic teaching, but large percentages of people in the pews of Catholic churches don't have this understanding. And I know that because of my own experience teaching in the Catholic Church for over 30 years and encountering this, what he's calling, and I'll explain in a moment, a Cartesian, Gnostic, Manichean dualism. I think he might have used all those words. Cartesian, Gnostic, Manichean dualism. I ask priests when I do priest convocations, I say, you generally know the sentiments of your parishioners. You tell me, what percentage of your parishioners have this view that when they die, their soul, which is their true self, is finally liberated from the imagined prison of the body? And I'm honest here. I'm telling you the truth. Like, the percentage I get from priests is usually about 90%. 90%. That's their assessment of their own parishioners. These are the people coming to Mass on Sunday, believe that their soul is their true self and the body is just the shell, a kind of prison that they're liberated from when they die. That is a heresy. That is a Cartesian, Gnostic, Manichean, dualistic rupture of body and soul that attacks our faith right at its deepest foundations. Let's go through those words. Cartesian, Rene Descartes, I think, therefore I am. When Rene Descartes set that as human identity, I think, therefore I am, positing human identity in thought, I became a thinking thing rather than an incarnate spirit, right? My thought, my conscious thought, my spirit alone defines my humanity. The body becomes, in the Cartesian view, something I think about, something I dissect, but it no longer is part of the definition of who I am. Which is why that Cartesian dictum naturally flows from I think, therefore I am, to I think, therefore I am whatever I think I am. That's the world we live in right now. Rooted in that Cartesian, that was the first word. The next word was Gnostic, Gnosticism, this ancient heresy. Gnosticism rooted in the Greek word gnosis, which is knowledge. It's this idea that if we can just rid ourselves of the grossness of matter, it's all gross, it's all unholy, and attain this intellectual gnosis, knowledge, secret knowledge, then I'll be liberated as a human being, right? Again, we're attacking what God created as the unity of body and soul. Manicheism, similar, spirit good, body bad. All of these fall under the general category of dualism. The fact that Ben Shapiro knows this, very intriguing. A Jew knows this, very intriguing. But let's see where the conversation goes.
in how we think about ourselves. That, okay, so your body wants porn and your mind is separate from your body. So what damage could you be doing to yourself? Because you aren't your body, you're your mind. And so your mind's out here, your body's over there, your body's doing a thing. Who cares? It's just like any other act that you're doing. It's defecating or eating or whatever else it is. So what difference does that make? And Catholicism insists on the embodiedness of human beings. And, maybe you can talk a little bit about why that's so important and how that, the falling apart of that notion of embodiedness has really corrupted so many elements of our politics and thought.
It's a great point, yeah. We are our bodies. We don't have bodies, we are bodies. We are a composite of both body and soul, both equally a part of who we are. When I kiss my daughter goodnight, I really do that. I don't manipulate the husk which is not me and press it against the husk which is not her. If we weren't our bodies, then when we shook hands earlier, that would have been like, I don't know, we didn't ever come into contact, and that seems silly. If somebody slaps you, they slapped you, and we know that. Yeah, and so
these are great examples that Matt is giving, and I typically give one more, which is a very sensitive one, but I think it dramatically demonstrates the point that we are a unity of body and soul. If we were merely spirits trapped in a body, and the body was not really us, and there was no real connection between the body and the soul, and it was just, as Matt said, a husk, right, in which my real self dwells. Well, sexual abuse would not be psychologically damaging, right? Psychology, that word psyche, it means the soul, right? When someone is sexually violated, it's not just a bodily violation. It is a deep psychological violation. And that, as painful an example as it is, I think it illuminates very clearly that touch point, that unity of the body and the soul. And Ben Shapiro here is spot on when he says this rupture of the spiritual and the physical is at the root of so many of our errors in the cultural, medical, political, educational spheres. I don't recall exactly how he listed it, but it was something like that. So insightful. Let's see where this wraps up.
Deny that we are our bodies. You're right. We can either act like disgracefully, what I would say shamefully, or maybe we fall into the kind of thinking too highly of the body as if that's the main thing, and then we neglect the soul. But yeah, what we do with our body really matters. And so
what we do with our body matters. Why? Because matter matters. This is our faith. The great crisis of our day, I believe, yes, it is a spiritual battle, but the great crisis of our day, this great spiritual battle, is fought over the meaning and purpose of the human body. The cultural elites of our day want to tell us that our body has no meaning at all, other than what we assign to it. I think, therefore I am. Whatever I think I am, right? That's the going wisdom of the day, which is not wisdom at all. It leads to the culture in which we live today, which is accurately described by St. John Paul II as a culture of death. Why is this error death dealing? Why does it lead to a culture of death? It's kind of obvious when you think about it, because that's what death is. That's the very definition of death, the separation of body and soul. Christianity boldly, scandalously declares to the whole world not only that the human body has a God-given meaning, but the God-given meaning of the human body is to reveal the ultimate meaning of the universe. Because the ultimate meaning of the universe, the logic behind it all, the purpose behind it all, the reason behind it all, the meaning with a capital M behind it all, All of those ideas summed up in the Greek word logos, that logic, purpose, meaning behind it all, that meaning took on a body. Ultimate meaning took on human flesh to reveal through that flesh ultimate meaning itself. The incarnation represents not only the embodiment of ultimate meaning, it also represents the enmeaningment of the human body. Whew. Lord, show us what our bodies mean. The bold declaration of the incarnation is that your body is destined for everlasting life. Your body is destined to participate in the eternal ecstasy and bliss of the Trinity. Death is not the liberation of the soul from the body. Death is the paralysis of the soul without the body. And Thomas Aquinas himself says the souls in heaven today, right now, are in an inhuman state until they await and experience the resurrection of our bodies.